Portuguese flag carrier TAP Air Portugal is a lot smaller than it used to be. In more recent times, the airline operated a small fleet of Airbus A340-300s but phased out this fleet in 2019. Decades earlier, TAP had also operated a handful of Boeing 747-200s, but these days the TAP Air Portugal mainline fleet is completely comprised of Airbus twinjets, all of which come from both the A320 and the A330neo families. Today, we take a closer look at this airline's fleet. According to planespotters.net data, the current composition of the TAP Portugal mainline fleet is as follows: 5 A319-100s, 15 A320-200s, 11 A320neos, 3 A321-200s, 20 A321neos, 3 A330-200s, and finally 19 A330-900s. Interestingly, there are a number of aircraft flying TAP Air Portugal operations that are actually operated by other airlines. These include 6 ATR-72s operated by Portuguese charter airline White Airways and a contingent of Embraer regional jets. This includes 12 E190s and 6 E195s. It would appear that of these Embraer jets, 12 are operated by an airline by the name of Portugalia. It seems that Portugalia's sole purpose is to operate flights for TAP Express. And thus, if we exclude these operational agreements with external carriers, the TAP mainline fleet would have a total of 76 aircraft. As you can see from the list, the Airbus A320 family of aircraft makes up the core of the airline's short and medium-haul fleet. The A319-100s are the oldest in the family, now having an average age of about 22 years. The aircraft had initially been configured with 132 seats, but were reconfigured and presumably refurbished in 2016 and 2017. A sad sign of the times, the cabin is now more dense, with 144 seats in a single class. As is quite standard across much of the TAP narrow-body fleet as well as with airlines across Europe, business class passengers have the middle seat blocked, a practice known as Euro business. The older A320s have a fairly wide range when it comes to age. Some are just 11.5 years, while others are over 20. These aircraft seat a maximum of 174 passengers in a single class. This cabin density is unsurprisingly identical to TAP's A320neo configuration, although the newer A320s average just 3 years of age. And finally, for the longest Airbus narrow-body, TAP's fleet of A321-200s now have an average age of about 21 years and seat up to 216 passengers in a single class. However, the A321neo jets are much younger, with an average of roughly 3 years. According to planespotters.net, the A321neos, which include both the A321LR and base A321neo, actually have 4 different configurations: 216 seats in a single class, 221 seats in a single class, a 2-class configuration with 16 seats in premium and 182 in economy, and a lower density 2-class layout with 16 business class seats and another 155 in economy class. While there's no distinction made on the planespotters.net website, we can presume that the A321LRs will be the aircraft sporting the premium heavy configurations. Interestingly, several sources note that the airline has a premium economy class, but others indicate only 2 classes. With the exception of the A321LR, all of TAP's narrow bodies are used on services within Europe. These aircraft find themselves ferrying passengers between major cities across the continent to the Portuguese cities of Lisbon and Porto. As is a growing trend across much of the industry, TAP Air Portugal is getting in on the long-haul narrow-body game. This has been made possible with the A321LR, of which TAP has ordered 12. Interestingly, the acquisition of the A321LR made TAP the first airline to operate a combined A330neo and A321LR fleet. Powered by CFM engines, TAP's A321LR fleet is configured with 16 fully flat seats. This premium seating allows for a comfortable long-haul business class experience and sees the airline fly from its Lisbon hub to transatlantic destinations like Montreal and Toronto in Canada, as well as Belém and Natal in Brazil. For US operations, the A321LR can also be found flying from Lisbon to Newark Liberty and Boston. While Tel Aviv was the launch route for this new type, the airline is currently using the A320neo on the route, at least at the time of this video's production. As part of an Airbus press statement, the airline CEO, Antonoaldo Neves, had the following to say. The A321LR is critical for TAP's expansion plans. With its superior range, we can comfortably explore markets in North America, South America and Africa from Portugal, and it'll fit in seamlessly with our A330neos. Neves added that the full flat business class and high comfort economy seats also feature a full suite of in-flight entertainment or IFE and connectivity, as well as free messaging services. Moving up to the airline's wide-body aircraft, TAP Air Portugal now operates just two A330 variants, the Airbus A330-200 and the A330-900. Interestingly, just one A330-200 is deployed on regular passenger operations at the moment. The aircraft, registered Charlie Sierra Tango Oscar Oscar, flies from Lisbon to destinations such as Porto Alegre, Fortaleza, Salvador and Recife. The other two A330-200 aircraft continue to operate as Praters, or makeshift freighters, which have had their passenger seating removed. The flagship aircraft type in the TAP fleet is the Airbus A330-900. The launch customer of the A330neo, TAP took its very first A330-900 in 2018. The airline had ordered 20 of the type for its long-haul operations. However, chaviation.com data notes that the airline is expecting 2 aircraft in addition to its existing 19, making for a total of 21. All TAP A330-900s feature 298 seats in a comfortable 3-class layout with 34 full-flat business class, 96 economy plus, and 168 economy class seats. According to Airbus, the airspace cabin configuration offers more personal space, larger overhead storage bins, advanced cabin lighting, and the latest generation in-flight entertainment system and connectivity. Having said goodbye to most of its A330-200 fleet between 2017 and 2020, TAP joins a handful of carriers who have chosen not to replace their Dash 200s with the modern equivalent, which is the A330-800. Indeed, airlines like Delta Airlines, Azul, Fiji Airways, ITA Airways, Malaysia Airlines and several others have opted to modernize their fleets with only A330-900s. TAP has done the same, deciding that the shorter A330-800 has no place in its fleet. In the past year, TAP aircraft have been involved in 2 interesting incidents. The first took place on Christmas Day 2021, which saw diversion take place aboard an A321LR flying from Lisbon, Portugal to Natal, Brazil. The aircraft had flown for approximately 90 minutes when it had to change course and land on the island of Madeira. The cause of the diversion was a mismatch in luggage that was loaded on board the aircraft, with a bag apparently unaccompanied by a passenger. Specific details of this incident were scarce, but it appears to be standard procedure for an unaccompanied piece of luggage to be offloaded. The second incident took place much more recently and involved the death of a motorcyclist who happened to be on a runway at the same time as an aircraft landing. Involving flight TP1492, a TAP Airbus A320neo landed on runway 24 at Conakry's Ahmed Sékou Touré International Airport at around 23:40 on the night of September 2nd. While the aircraft was still on the runway, its right engine collided with a motorcycle that was crossing the runway at that time. Both riders on the motorcycle were unfortunately killed, and the driver is believed to have been identified as a security officer at the airport. Beyond the victims outside the aircraft's engine suffered significant damage. In 2019, TAP completely phased out its Airbus A340-300 fleet. The carrier had operated 4 of the type, which had begun operations with the airline between late 1994 and mid-1995. Preferring to move to more efficient twinjets for its long-haul operations, the airline removed the A340s from service between late September and late October. The airline noted that these quadjets had collectively operated over 63,000 flights, transporting more than 12 million passengers. With over 55 destinations served, the A340 served cities like Luanda, Maputo, Newark, Rio de Janeiro and Sao Paulo. Ultimately, it looks like TAP is reaching the end of its fleet modernization process. While other carriers have large orders of new aircraft on the horizon, TAP appears to be wrapping up its outstanding aircraft orders. Considering its choice of aircraft, it's clear that TAP is seeking maximum operational efficiency, since using an all-Airbus fleet will take advantage of efficiencies with maintenance, repairs and training. Additionally, the decision to operate NEO aircraft will equate to a lower carbon footprint with lower fuel burn. What do you think of the composition of TAP Air Portugal's fleet? Have you flown with this airline before? Share your thoughts and experiences by leaving a comment. Simple Flying publishes over 150 articles every week. If you're looking for the latest aviation news and insights, visit simpleflying.com.